Welcome back to another episode of Safemoon Round Table with the guys talking about SafeMoon. We're back with the Avengers, and one of our members are not here, which is Adam, but everyone else who's usually on the panel is here. So everything regarding SafeMoon, a little bit of recap of the AMA, as well as we're going to be taking some questions and answers. Questions from the community. Super chats will be priority as usual. But Atlas, oh wow, everyone just popped up. Okay, screw that up. Welcome, everyone. Guys, we have RJ over here. RJ, what's up, man?
What's up, guys? I was trying to check these shortcuts for Command D, but it wasn't working. But what's going on? What's up?
Yeah, doing good, man. How are you?
Good. Thank you.
Awesome. Then we have Generation Crypto, the one who pioneered the idea. So we'll always give him credit. And he's wearing his own merch. Check out that shirt, man. That's a clean shirt, bro. Tell us about that shirt.
This is actually a present from my parents from Christmas. So this will be eventually on the merch store, which should be launching here in a couple months.
Awesome. And we do have, who's Tim? Who's that guy? I don't know who he is, but he's on the screen. Who are you? Introduce yourself.
I'm Tim. No one knows who I am, and that's all I have to say about that.
I heard there's rumors about you working for SafeMoon. Any details there? Any hints? What's going on there?
Not true. No, I do not work for SafeMoon. So if anyone, and I'm not related to John. There's a lot of people that are saying that I'm related to John. I don't even look like John for one thing, but I'm not related to John, and we're not cousins. So let's just squash that right there.
Awesome. Thank you for the clarification. We needed that. Really did. Last but not least, Crypto Atlas with another theme hat. It's like every single week, it's like a face mask, some kind of Naruto banner. Bro, can you explain the idea of the hat? What's going on here?
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, look, after all the great news that we just got on this last SafeMoon Sunday, the first SafeMoon Sunday of 2022, it feels like a second Christmas already.
Yeah, for sure. So why is the Streamlabs or StreamYard logo in the video? I didn't pay for the subscription, if you guys are wondering. So it's going to be there. It's a service that I'm using to stream. But if you guys are wondering why is it ducked in the actual video of us recording here, streaming, I haven't paid for the subscription service. I'm just thinking about how often would I use it. I might fix that for the future. But we do have quite a few topics to talk about. So we just came off of a very good AMA. Quite a few details were uncovered when it comes to specifics of NFTs, Wallet Connected's launch. And we've been talking about what does that mean for the token? What does that mean for the ecosystem? And how do all these things function and talk? So I do have a couple pointers that I do want to start out with. And the first one is going to be Wallet Connect. Now, I'm going to give a brief introduction in regards to my opinion, and then I'll go down the line of guys so they can actually chime in and give their own opinion. So Wallet Connect, I love this feature. This allows people to connect to decentralized applications. There was a big part of, for me, what makes a wallet unique and what makes a wallet crypto-based so that I can interact with other dApps, because I hold quite a bit of tokens that are not specifically SafeMoon. And the reason why I haven't imported my MetaMask seed phrase into my Safemoon wallet was because I use a lot of dApps. With this feature, I can utilize that, and it's something that I was waiting for, and it's awesome that that is available to us. So I do want to start with RJ though. So RJ, Wallet Connect, your thoughts, your opinions, what do you think, and has this changed anything for you when it comes to usage of the wallet?
Yeah, I absolutely love the fact that they enabled Wallet Connect, because I did release a video, I don't know if you guys saw that, where it allows people with the LPL pad, LPL Titan, to be able to purchase SafeMoon through the LPL, because what ends up happening is you enter the app, the LPL application, you go into their own browser, it connects to the LPL wallet, and then it allows you to, in there you can type in swap.safemoon.net, and it allows you to purchase SafeMoon securely using a cold storage wallet such as the LPL. So something like this was absolutely fire, and love it. So yeah, big thumbs up.
Awesome. If you guys do want to see the video, I have all the guys' YouTube channels down below in the description. You can go ahead and check out RJ and find that video. I'm sure it was within the last couple of days. If you guys want to see that in regards to how that functions. Going over to Generation Crypto, Wallet Connect, what are your thoughts and what is your opinion?
I think it's a great feature to have in the wallet. I think primarily because there is a big point of concern for a lot of people when it comes to connecting their wallet to decentralized applications, right? Everyone's worried about backdoor entries. Everyone's worried about basically what happens when all your data is stored in one location. And so having a way that you can utilize Web 3.0 technology to go ahead and securely connect your wallet through decentralized applications, I think is an awesome feature for those that it's compatible with. So I think having that's just another step forward of Safemoon recognizing and showing that they're not here for yesterday's tech, they're here to build tomorrow's tech. And they want to be integrated into and built into the already existing Web 3.0 ecosystem. So allowing that to happen while having security in mind, I think is an awesome feature. And I think it finally opens up the door for a lot of people to utilize the wallet in ways that was unavailable prior to us engaging with Wallet Connect.
Definitely. And like I said, it was a feature that I was specifically waiting for before I did my migration from my MetaMask, putting my seed phrase onto my Safemoon wallet. So you did touch on more points that I elaborated on. So Safemoon, Tim, what are your thoughts? What's your opinion? Has this changed anything for you when it comes to using the wallet?
I'm really excited the fact that you could get a merchant and you could set up there and you can make purchases through it. I think that's pretty unique, although I don't want to make any purchases right now. I want to hold on to my Safemoon as long as I can before I start spending it. But I like that fact of it. I also like the fact that you could set up your profile on there and accept tips as like a YouTuber and you could become verified. I think that's a pretty cool feature as well. So then people... the verification part, I think, is really big because, as you guys know, we have a lot of bots that spam our comments a lot. And so, like, they're always trying to get people to, like, go to the WhatsApp and try to get the donations for that. So I kind of like that there's a way that you can verify a tip place on the Connect. So, yeah, I mean, I really am excited for all those features that they have on there. And like I said, and everything that you guys said before, I think is pretty solid, connecting the LPL and everything else. So, but yeah, that's what I got on that.
Wonderful. I do see a couple of people in the chat asking, where's Adam? Adam could not make it. He has some personal circumstances that he had to deal with. So unfortunately, he's not here, but his channel link is also down in the description. You guys do want to check him out and support him as well. Last but not least, Crypto Atlas. What are your thoughts? Wallet Connect, your opinion. Let's hear it.
This is a great addition. You guys need to realize that when you have restrictions set in place with Apple especially, and you're trying to build things integrated into the Safemoon wallet, you got to be able to find a way around that. And so if you have partners that are creating their own independent things out there and you say, man, I would love for a way to be able to connect Safemoon to that, but there's just no on-ramp to be able to do so. Well, you can reverse it. So instead of building it necessarily within Safemoon wallet, you can make it so that Safemoon wallet is working alongside a third-party platform, in this case, Wallet Connect, which allows you to get access to all of those different intermediaries. Because, for example, you may have a business that goes off and they create their own platform. Let's just use, for example, explorenft.app. Right now, you can only connect Trust Wallet over to that specific base platform. So if you wanted to be able to connect Safemoon Wallet, they need to make their own update so that it has an additional option. But moving forward, companies can utilize Wallet Connect services so that they have the broad spectrum, that big umbrella of all these different wallets that have been created. And there's quite a few that are out there, but Safemoon is now included in that list. So the amount of different business opportunities just on that alone moving forward is going to be absolutely pivotal.
Yeah, wonderful. Very good points. You guys gave very, very good topics. Overall, any more opinion on Wallet Connect before we move on? Nothing. Now, the next topic is similar, but these two things are different. So Wallet Connect and Safemoon Connect, two different things. What I love specifically about Safemoon Connect was their whole tip service. So the idea of having a URL, and that URL can literally be copied and pasted, similar to a PayPal link. And us as YouTubers, us as influencers, if you're on Twitch, if you're on Twitter, hosting a Twitter space, having that is just a very easy available window for people to tip. Or I heard that they want to also integrate fundraising with that as well in the future. This is the first step of many when it comes to the foundation of this product. So I know there's a lot of stuff that's going to be coming through Safemoon Connect. So don't get it too mixed up. Wallet Connect is a completely different service. Safemoon Connect is going further into the Safemoon ecosystem and offering more services and products to the users. So starting off with RJ, talking about Safemoon Connect specifically. What do you think and what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I like it. So far, the information that we've been given, I think it was the Hound that said it right, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but he was talking about, I think I saw some guy tweet something, and his response was something like, yeah, it'll be cool to tip, like you said, Boomboy, but imagine if it's something used like, what's one of the peer-to-peer, like Venmo, right? But cooler. I think he said something like that. It's like, imagine having your own Venmo, but cooler. And for my friends and family, we use Venmo all the time, right? When we go out to eat, someone picks up the tab. It's just easier to Venmo them than rather than having to hand 8 cards. When we go out to the movies, it's easier for someone to pick it up, get the points, and then we Venmo them. So this is an ecosystem that I'm absolutely looking forward to, because I've told all my friends already, ever since Safemoon came out with the contacts feature in that wallet, I was like, forget using Venmo, forget using PayPal. We're all going to use Safemoon, and we're all just going to swap Safemoon back and forth to each other. So if I picked up the movie tab, just pay me in Safemoon, because there was a law, I believe, that was passed anyways. I think it's something crazy where if you collect more than $600, I believe, in Venmo or PayPal or something like that, you're supposed to report that in taxes, which makes absolutely no freaking sense to me whatsoever. So I was like, well, F it. Let's just start using SafeMoon to start swapping back and forth. So if SafeMoon Connect can tie into something like that, I'm all for it, 100%.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't pay taxes in my country, but you don't get taxed on donations, do you? Can anybody correct me on that?
Are you
I
talking
believe.
about charitable
know.
donations?
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
me as a streamer, or if I am a barber and I'm cutting hair and someone tips me fiat or tips me SafeMoon, do you have to tax that tip?
Yes, technically it's supposed to be reported, but a lot of people won't report the full amount, or they'll skip away from it. But yeah, you're supposed to
IRS, are
report
you
all the
listening?
tips that you receive.
Okay, interesting. Well, this is a good segue to going on to you, Generation Crypto, in regards to your thoughts on SafeMoon Connect specifically.
Yeah, I think it's an awesome feature. I think kind of looking back, if we look at what the Fudhound or Ryan was talking about, basically after the AMA, he mentioned that's pretty much the reason he got brought on board onto the team was because of Safemoon Connect. So it had already pretty much been completely built out and fleshed out, but he wanted that to be a part of the Safemoon ecosystem, and that's essentially what kind of onboarded onto the team, and then they were able to integrate that into their already existing system. So I think it's awesome that they were able to set that up. I was in a live stream yesterday, just by myself, kind of talking about this, but it goes beyond even content creators. Like for us, it's awesome because we can have that link in our description of our video. And like you mentioned before, the Twitter space holders, they can have that there, and you can tip each other that way. If you're a Twitch streamer, that can be another revenue source for you, and you can also accept payments in cryptocurrency. But imagine you go out to eat. Instead of having to tip in fiat, you could tip in crypto, right? So you go to dinner and you need to tip your waitress. You could go ahead and just utilize that feature, and you can go ahead and tip them with SafeMoon or with whatever cryptocurrency that you want to utilize. And I think that's the cool part about this, is that SafeMoon isn't just making it about just SafeMoon, right? This feature is going to be utilizable for all other cryptocurrencies as well. So you don't have to just tip in crypto. You can go ahead and tip in, BUSD if you wanted to, or you can tip in Dogecoin or whatever other cryptocurrency that you're into. You can utilize multiple, and it's the same with their card, right? So they're making this an entire ecosystem that's not shutting out other projects, but it's going to incorporate them inside of this ecosystem that they're building. So they're making it user friendly, and they're making it kind of friendly towards the entire economy and not just their specific product, which I think is really cool.
And there's a really cool thing you said. So SafeMoon is not limited to just SafeMoon. It's any cryptocurrency that you're holding in your Safemoon wallet, which is awesome. It gives you a wider range to tip people in other currencies, for example, ETH, Bitcoin in the future. So that's another cool thing as well. Now, RJ did mix the algorithm a little bit, so we're just going to go right over to Crypto Atlas, and then Safemoon will be last. So
That's fine. I already touched on this.
Yeah, you did briefly touch on
I
it.
went out of order.
Go
I was breaking things up.
Go ahead, Atlas. Oh man.
Yeah, so this is absolutely incredible, guys. And you know what? I feel so excited about this because I called it. I made a video talking about this stuff the night before the Sunday AMA. And I was just like, yes, thank God. This is such an incredible thing, right? So I used to work with Streamlabs back in the day. I used to do full-time streaming. And when you're talking about interactions with community and the content creators, using systems like this, it's highly sought after, and it's a very big growing industry. So the other thing that you need to incorporate in too is that they were talking about bringing in businesses and having the ability to where your Safemoon wallet can be able to communicate as your created account, right? So you can have access. Just imagine a car dealership that partners with Safemoon. The amount of possibilities through different sort of kickbacks, loyalty programs, there's a lot of different styles that are out there. And what I personally would love to see, I'm just going to pick one for the purpose of the roundtable here, is that I would love to see a kickback in Safemoon rewards. So what I mean by that is, imagine if you went to go buy a car, the car is normally $10,000. And instead they say, well, we're willing to accept Bitcoin. We will accept Bitcoin as payment, right? It's a little bit more stable. We're choosing Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Dogecoin. That's fine. As a business, you can choose which ones you're willing to work with. But if you work through our Safemoon Connect, our Safemoon wallet, then you are incentivizing the wallet holders to spend those cryptocurrencies to you. And then in exchange for that discounted price, there's a little bit of a kickback that the wallet holders earn in Safemoon natively. So you can use any other cryptocurrency to go and do these purchases, but you always get a kickback as a rewards program. We see something similar to this, like for example, if you go into the Ralph's grocery store, you go and buy in some groceries, you go to the checkout, you got your little card, it adds onto your profile. Later on, you can try and redeem these for various things. So incentivizing communities through businesses and just sort of merging the two together is going to open up a whole other slew of possibilities. And it's really exciting. If you find ways to also include Safemoon as a transaction fee in some regard, whether it be across the whole spectrum or it's just individualized things with Safemoon Connect, don't forget that with Safemoon Swap, we have that included already. Every time somebody uses it, you're swapping, let's say, Ethereum over to Shiba Inu, just for an example, right? That transaction fee is going to be using in Safemoon. It helps contribute to the Safemoon ecosystem. Why? Well, the same thing. If you go and use PancakeSwap, it helps reward the cake community in that regard. So just incentivizing, bringing other cryptocurrencies over to our platform and allowing the communities to use what they want natively, but it still ends up helping Safemoon as a whole is just, it's got me like shaking. I mean, I'm telling you guys, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry that we're talking about that Safemoon is entering. And so there's just so many opportunities.
Yeah, that is an incredible ecosystem. And John actually didn't mention extra to that as well about Safemoon, the potential of the first 50 cards being a limited edition color. So I know a lot of people are going to try to rush to get the Safemoon card, which talks to Safemoon Connect. The whole ecosystem talks to each other. But yeah, I actually hope he does like a pink color, like something just kind of off and different. I wouldn't mind a pink card. I don't own anything pink. So I think if he did a pink card for the 50,000 first limited edition people, I would try to get at least 4 of those, one for me and one for my other family members. But
I want a holographic first edition Safemoon card.
Yeah, that'd be awesome as well. So we're going to move on. And this one can be a whole hour-long topic. I don't want to stretch this one too thin. We're talking about the Safemoon NFTs. We're talking about Gamma, which we did get a little bit of information from the last AMA in regards to what that even means and how it ties into their NFTs. So just a brief summary from me in regards to what I think. I think this is incredible. You're talking about the ownership of an NFT that is tied to an actual physical item that has value. That item, as it spins, can actually earn you more, call it reflections, additional to your natural bag of Safemoon. So now you're increasing your passive income stream by owning these Safemoon NFTs, which gives you ownership of either a specific blade or either a whole entire turbine. That alone is incredible. And Gamma, I still haven't dove too deep in regards to what that is, but I believe Gamma is going to be the platform that Safemoon uses to build those further NFTs. So it's a lot that's going on here when it comes to NFT space. And I know that as they develop the Safemoon ecosystem, they can evolve the NFTs, bringing more things out. It's not just going to be niche to owning these specific turbines. They can go quite far with that. I think Ryan DeFudhound say it best, we're limited by our own creativity. So our own capacity to think and understand is as far as the NFT space will go. So you can literally do anything with NFTs. You can essentially code your DNA and put it on your driver's license as a QR code. And that scan will then identify you as this is the person. No need for social security numbers anymore. You just have your QR code right there in your driver's license. Anyway, so, well, no longer RJ. So Generation Crypto, my boy, NFTs, Gamma, what are your thoughts and what's going on here?
Perfect. So I just shared a screen with you. Can you pull that in? Okay, so I made this yesterday and I shared this on my stream to kind of break down visually what's happening when you buy these NFTs. So essentially, you're getting basically multiple things now with the way that they're going to build the ecosystem with Safemoon. So when you buy an NFT, you're going to get the NFT on the blockchain. So that's the actual NFT that you will own. However it looks graphically, whether it's an artistic piece or whether it's just a document, however that's going to look on the blockchain, you're getting that NFT on the blockchain. In the real world, you're going to gain ownership of or partial ownership through fractalization of a real world wind turbine that will go ahead and be utilized to burn Safemoon as well as earn Safemoon. Now, my theory is how you're going to earn Safemoon is going to be through the profits that are made from the electricity that's generated from the wind turbine itself. And then as it spins, it's also going to be burning Safemoon. So you'll be able to basically take a part of those profits for being the owner of that real world wind turbine that you have actual ownership of through that NFT that you have on the blockchain. Now, the cool part about this is that in the metaverse, right, you're also going to have that NFT interact with things in a different way, like they mentioned on the AMA. So that picture there that I have there is a generator from the video game called Subnautica. So that is a generator. So like, let's say you're in a game in the metaverse and you need a generator. It's the same NFT that gives you ownership of the wind turbine in real life is now going to represent that generator that's going to sit on your land in the metaverse or the Gammaverse, if anyone has done any research into gamma.io, and you will be able to utilize that there in that space as well. So it's going to have one NFT that's going to have multiple use cases, and it's going to look different depending on which kind of plane of existence that you're on. So if you're in the real world, it's the wind turbine. If you're on the blockchain, it's an NFT. And then if it's in the metaverse, it's that generator or what have you in a different video game or a different portion of that metaverse. So I just wanted to break that down for you guys visually so you guys can really see what you're getting with this new kind of concept. And so I did a deep dive on this. I'll do more information on it for you guys, but basically they're going to have to probably utilize two different services to make this all connect, and it's going to all come incorporated into one place. So for those that have looked into gamma.io, they're a company that's making a video game that's doing NFTs relation to the metaverse, which they're calling the Gammaverse. And that Gammaverse is going to basically be you purchase an NFT, which is a character or a crew member, and then they can go ahead and pilot these spaceships in the metaverse. So the Gamma, in my theory, right, this is again my speculation and theory, is that the Gammaverse portion or the relationship with Gamma was most likely going to be related more towards the metaverse side of things. When it comes to the real world side of things, they're going to probably be utilizing other forms of legal disclaimers and things to make that work. And again, I dove into that earlier. I believe it's called like RWNFTs, where they're real world NFTs, and they have different applications and legalities that are tied to them with insurance and other factors, because things in the real world can get destroyed, right? So you could have a hurricane get passed over the area where you have your wind turbine and it's destroyed. So you would basically have, by the ownership of this NFT, it comes alongside with like an insurance policy. So if it's destroyed, it can get replaced and repaired. That way you're good for that kind of stuff as well. So there's a lot of utility and use case they can run with this. There's a lot of directions they can run with this. I'm curious to see here what everyone else on the panel has to say about this.
Generation Crypto killed that. And guys, he did a very deep dive into the Safemoon AMA. I believe it was yesterday, and I chimed in for a little bit when it comes to his talking points. So if you guys do want to check out what he specifically thinks about every single part of the Safemoon Sunday AMA, head over to Generation Crypto channel, and you can get all those details over there. I do want to bring back up our talking point, which is the Safemoon NFTs and Gamma. If you guys do want to dive deep as well into the metaverse and buying land, John did touch on that a little bit as well when it comes to the AMA. That also fit into this segment here as well. So Crypto Atlas, your thoughts, your opinion, and what do you think?
Ooh, this is opening up a whole other door of possibilities, guys. So when you mentioned Generation Crypto, your land, this is something that John had mentioned in the AMA. It was very subtle, but this creates an opportunity, which has been discussed in the Safemoon community before, about potentially being able to buy digital land. This is something that you see in things like, for example, Decentraland or Sandbox, I think is the other name that I'm thinking of. So I had talked about this in the past. If you had incorporated in the metaverse augmented reality, that is one aspect of something like this. You are then appealing to a broad audience by using their phone. And when we're talking about developing countries and people trying to be able to interact with the Safemoon ecosystem, if you can make it convenient so that people can access those things through their phone, you're talking about a lot of different options out there. So you're limiting resources to certain capabilities, right? You can be able to do things like Pokemon Go. I don't know if they're going to be doing this. They might make it more centralized in the sense where you go onto a computer or you go to a specific website and then you can see the digital land that's there. And then you have your little SafeMoon wind turbine generator that's giving you resources with that. But can you imagine if they went into other types of resources? And again, I touched on this in the past, but they said that the wind turbines are just the start. They've also said in the past that moving forward, the next thing that they would be looking at would be, for example, solar energy. So other forms of renewable energy. You also got hydropower. Maybe we talk about atomic energy. I know SafeMoon Tim knows a lot more in that background for sure. And you start looking at other elements. Like imagine if you could end up mining on your land natively some sort of certain elements, and you could generate and create different products. This is speculation. This is just something that I'm throwing out there that I think would be cool and it would have a lot of opportunity moving forward in this industry space. But you could mine certain elements in your own plot of land that's also in the real world. So you got this crossover between digital and real world. You take out your phone, you're walking around downtown LA, you're around Staples Center, and you can see these digital objects that somebody in Africa happens to own that specific plot of land. They created it over there, but you can visually see it here. And to be able to create those objects, you had to mine the different resources inside your plot. And, you know, you look at things like, for example, 0x Universe. In that game, you buy, and this is a cryptocurrency game, so you buy these different planets, and they have a certain set of resources that it generates for you, and it's a certain interval. So like every day you're earning these extra resources. You can then spend those resources on different things. But each planet has different sets of resources. So there's where the incentive of the e-commerce kind of comes into play. So with NFTs, besides just the wind turbines, as they kind of said, that's the starting point. There's a lot of things that you could create moving forward with this. And when you talk about, for example, crossing it over into another game, if you look at Axie Infinity, they have parts. So the creatures that you see, they have certain types of ears. They have certain types of eyes. And these give them also attributes to different movesets. Well, you could label with tags what those parts are, go into another game, and it still has the same designation of parts, but in this other game, it just performs a different set of values. And this is where a lot of the NFTs that SafeMoon could be creating could start to scale up, where you have more than just one game. I mean, there's a whole spectrum here, and I'm just speculating based on what we know so far and what I would like to see. But it's really cool what they're doing.
And guys, Crypto Atlas is a wealth of knowledge. All these guys are Crypto Atlas, Safemoon Team, Generation Crypto, Adam, RJ. But Crypto Atlas does massive deep diving into anything and everything regarding Safemoon. So if you guys want specific videos on those specific topics, head over to Crypto Atlas channel, which is actually in the description. So heading over to RJ. Now, I'm going to ask RJ the same question, but I also want you to actually specify, why would someone want to buy land in the metaverse? What is the purpose and what does that do? Is there any value in actually owning a digital asset, which is land? Talk to me about the NFTs and talk to me about the ownership of land specifically as well.
Me?
Yeah, you, RJ.
Man, I might be out of my...
I gave you a hard question. Sorry.
I might be out of my depth on that conversation.
Right.
Other than the fact that I know there's a lot of people, right? So let me speak on behalf of really quick the SafeMoon NFT and how piggybacking off of what Generation and Atlas said, those guys are heavy hitters when it comes to this stuff, including Tim. The only thing I have seen is other projects that try to implement stuff like this. Now, SafeMoon is taking it to the next level. But if we take a look at what is that farm game? Generation or Atlas? Do you guys know? I think it's Farmer's World or Farming Tales or something like that, where you're allowed to buy an NFT, right? And it's on the open market where you can buy like a sugar cane or something that generates something. And you can actually, once you purchase that NFT, like I'm producing sugar on my sugar cane, you will see other content creators actually make money, a decent amount of money after they purchase X amount of things in their farm to produce certain things, right? Now, of course, what's happening there is those NFTs are helping, of course, complete blocks of transactions, right? That's why you're getting rewarded and stuff like that. But how SafeMoon is doing it is you can do something like that where you're in the game and you can purchase like a turbine inside the game. and it generates stuff inside the game. But at the same time, in the real world, you have a wind turbine that you own a piece of via NFT, and it's spinning and burning, and you're getting pieces of it. Now, I've seen and heard other people talk about how they're trying to invest truly in land inside NFTs so that they can do stuff like real estate, and how different portions of land is becoming more valuable, and how people are spending real money to purchase like I heard crazy things like to purchase like a car for like $200,000 or something like that. And this is where the world is going, right? To some, really, it might be, and it might sound ridiculous, but to others, if we're talking about the game like what was the movie, guys? I'm having a brain fart. Ready Player One. That's where the world is heading. This is why Facebook has rebranded, and they're heading towards Meta and stuff like that, and they're investing millions and billions of dollars into this, is because right now it might sound silly, but down the road, if we end up in a situation like Ready Player One, I mean, there's insane amounts of money to be made. So in terms of purchasing land, yeah, I mean, if you can purchase prime real estate in a metaverse, it could make you billions of dollars in the future.
It's actually very interesting because when you think about the ownership of digital asset like land right now, it doesn't make sense because you can't really interact with it we can't actually upload our brain and actually walk on the land we buy. But in the future, that might actually come to fruition. So the idea is that you're making a purchase for the idea of what can be possible in the future. Because if those things do manifest and we do turn into a Ready Player One economy, and everyone is spending 20 hours a day online and 4 hours sleeping, and then just hopping back online when they wake up, that land that you bought 50 years ago is now incredibly valuable. So you need to look at it as what can be possible, right? Now, going over to Safemoon Tim, who actually got a name drop, not really name drop, but John Crony said, the YouTuber who will not be named, he goes very deep into molecular particles and how does the mountains talk to each other over here, and boom, there it is. That was a really cool point. And I think he actually shout out Safemoon Joe. He said, what do you know? So Safemoon Tim and Safemoon Joe got a brief mention, hint, shout out. So I thought that was really cool. Safemoon Tim, your deep dive into NFTs, Gamma, in this whole ecosystem.
Oh boy. Okay. I mean, you guys crushed it when you started talking about stuff. I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to bring up that they haven't already brought up? I mean, it's the worst thing going last because you have these monster minds just dropping everything. And as I was thinking of what I was going to say, I'm like, all right, Generation said that. All right, Atlas said that. All right, RJ just smashed everything I was thinking about saying. So if you went to me. So yeah, I think one of the cool things about owning one of these NFTs that's tied to a real life object is passive income, right? So if you could purchase one of these NFTs where you're consistently getting more Safemoon from it, it's pretty awesome, because when you do purchase an NFT, like if it's artwork, your hopes that will increase in value, it'll be worth more money later on, that you could sell that NFT, you can make money for it, or you just truly might like it and you would want to hang it and put it on your wall in the metaverse. But having something like this where you could generate Safemoon by its real world generation on Earth, and be generating elements in the metaverse, resources in the metaverse that maybe someone might want to connect to you with their Wallet Connect or their Safemoon Connect and say, hey man, I need some of the resources that you've been generating with your NFT. I will pay you some Safemoon if you can give me some of those resources, because I need to build a house, or I need to put a new tire, and you're making rubber from that turbine generator that you bought. And a lot of these NFTs become very expensive, and a lot of people have been bringing up to Safemoon, hey, I want to buy one of these wind turbines. How could I purchase one of these wind turbines? I want to get one of these for my house. I actually looked it up. If I got 3 of them, it would only cover 2% of the electricity that my house uses. Now, I'm not saying I use a ridiculous amount of electricity. I'm just saying it's 3 degrees outside. I have an electric heat pump. I would need about 70 of these things outside to just power my home and just be truly off the grid. So I'm not even sure how much of these you would need and how much generation would be brought up because of the nanotechnology that's applied to these. But then when you think about it, you're like, can I afford one of these? How much are they? And that's what a lot of people have been asking me. They're like, how much do you think one of these cost? Well, the small version of the Semtic wind turbine that they threw out there which we're assuming that is what they are using for their test project, is $3,600. And that is without any nanotechnology applied to it to make it more efficient and generate more power. And you don't even know, because that hasn't been dropped on you, how much more efficient these new turbines are going to be. But then that also brings up the price. So it's cool that they're saying, well, maybe we'll sell 10 NFTs for 10% of generation among one of these wind turbines. So if you wanted to go halvesies on it, or if you wanted to go thirdsies on it, or if you only wanted to buy in 10%, you don't have to make that huge purchase, but you could still generate yourself some stuff in the metaverse, and you could still generate yourself some passive income on, into your wallet to the real world. So I find it really awesome. And with Gamma, I went way off on what Gamma was all about. And I think that's why they brought it up, because I went on this polymer kick. That's a brush that applies nanoparticles in a certain way on objects. And I know it was after I was way off on that. And then I came back and I realized that I was not on the right page after John said that I may have went too far in the wrong direction down the rabbit hole. But it was still a fun ride down that rabbit hole when I had it. But yeah, this Gamma metaverse that they're building, I think is awesome because it is on multiple chains. So you might have one NFT that works one way in one version on one blockchain, but then you could move that NFT to another blockchain and it appears a different way and it does a different thing in that area. So I think it's cool how the whole stuff comes together. And I know a lot of people are thinking that it's just strictly for gaming, but I think there's more to it than just that. And as more of this matures through Web 3.0 or Web 3.0, I think you'll really get to see all the new cases that are going to arise from having an NFT that you can own in the real world and in the metaverse.
Tim, you brought up a very interesting talking point that I'm actually going to spawn right now as a question. Anyone can actually elaborate, but I want to open this up to you, Tim. You mentioned that one of those wind turbines can power 2% of your house. Now, you either use way too much electricity or is not as efficient as we might think it is. Now, can you elaborate a little bit on your thoughts in regards to why that is? Is it the case that the nanoparticles, the coating, is it that drastic to where it's going to ramp up the efficiency from 2% to the full 100% for one wind turbine to power one house? Or is the idea to just have dozens of them powering each individual house, and that's how they're going to be scaled? So what are your thoughts, and how do they fix the percentage when it comes to it being actually viable to use?
So when I was talking about the turbines themselves, they were just stock turbines. So I don't know the amount of more kinetic energy that would be taken from real life and put into generation when it comes into being able to store it and use it. So if you had a 50% increase or a 20% increase based on the wind speed through the nanoparticle coatings on the wind turbine, that would change things a lot when how many you would need to power one device. So it's really questionable when you're trying to think about it that way. Like, how many of these things do you need? Is it even viable to run resources off this? But I have been researching how you could put these in a certain way where one plays off another one. So based on how you have them arranged in your grid, one will spin and actually power another one. So they'll keep them all going. Not forever, obviously, because, perpetual motion is insane. Let's just throw that out there right now. Because I did bring that up and I was like, maybe they got it close to perpetual motion, and then I was shot down on that. But it is an idea that you can set these up to become even more efficient based on how you have them lined out. So yes, and yeah, I probably use a lot more electricity than most people over in the Gambia would use. Like their real world cases, they may need to power some lights, they might need to charge a cell phone, they might want to power a television. But I have like multiple Xboxes, computers, cell phones, laptops, TVs. My heat is all electricity. I have my refrigerator. I have like all those instruments, your dishwasher, your washing machine. These are things that they don't even have over there, have the ability to power the way it is. So they're first going to start moving their ways up. And that's why I think they're going to get into solar later on. So they have more generation, but first give them lights, first give them a way to have a way to store their banking, to charge their phones, then get into, being able to power a radio, a television, and then work their way up through that system there. But I mean, it's the possibilities of it are endless, but you got to really see how much the nanotechnology adds to the turbine. Because that's one of the questions I'm going to shoot at John, if he can give me the answer when I see him next, is like, so you're talking about this awesome research and these particles being more efficient on capturing kinetic energy. how much more does it generate based on a stock one as compared to what this nanoparticle technology on it? So that would be an interesting question if you can even give that.
When did you say you were going to see him next?
I'm not going to see him next. when I bump into him on Discord, not when I see him, because I wouldn't see him. And I'm not going out to crypto. Are you guys, any of you guys, going out to that crypto thing in Utah?
I am.
No.
Oh, well, yeah,
You
you
are.
are.
Generation's
nice.
going to be there. Are you going to be streaming that, Generation?
What's up?
Are you going to be streaming that, live streaming?
Yeah, I'm going to be recording as much as I can. So I actually bought some equipment so that I could do live interviews there as well.
Nice.
So
Diamond
I'll be
Fist.
doing that for you guys.
Hey.
Down here,
Diamond
guys.
Fist.
Everywhere. But yeah, so I'm going to be there. I got a media pass as well, so I'll be able to get into places and do interviews and that kind of a thing. So it's going to be a fun day.
Awesome. If you guys Diamond Fist up, not to the camera, because we had this buttocks effect, which didn't really come off too well the last one. So we're gonna. Yeah, Tim's
I
gonna
forgot about that.
up now.
I just had a question for Tim, if that's okay.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So when you were talking about the energy usage on the one, you're talking about the smaller turbines, right? Not the bigger ones.
Correct. I didn't even see a price for the larger one. So the price of a smaller one, when I actually sent them an email. I said, hey guys, how much does one of these cost? And they're like, well, you could pre-order one for $3,600. And I was like, great, that'll give me 1% usage of my power. So I would need 100 of them. So that would be like way too much to power my house. So.
Gotcha. Because I remember a while ago, John posted on, this is like way back when they first mentioned the wind turbines. He broke down like how much energy you could get out of these wind turbines at certain hour usages. And I remember back then, I didn't do the math on the small turbines, but I remember the bigger turbines. It was something like you only needed like 0.8 turbines. So basically one and probably a second one, right? To actually power the average home in the Gambia, I think was the amount. So you only needed one wind turbine per home on the larger ones, not the small ones, the larger ones at the base without any improvements. So I would imagine the smaller ones probably just are significantly less powerful, I would imagine, right? I haven't looked at the smaller ones at all. So
I think it's a fifth of the amount of power. I'm not sure. I can't remember. I did post it, and someone was asking me how much it did, and I actually had it for some reason. As I just had it in a Word document. I was like, hey, there, I have it right here, and I just copied and pasted it into my comments, so I knew it at that. And I think there was a 25% difference, or 5 times the amount of electricity. Okay. So I don't know if they're 5 times bigger, but.
Yeah, I thought I did the same math. I mean, I was just, of course, going straight off of what John had tweeted, where he was talking about how much the wind can actually generate. And then I did like a simple Google search. Of course, this was one way back when he posted it. I just was curious. And I Google searched how much energy like solar would be. And from my just very general Google searching, I thought I saw that the wind turbine was supposed to generate more, if not the same amount as solar. So I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. But of course, I was just going off of the numbers that he had given, right? I didn't do any super deep dive technical research into it. But yeah, I mean, either Tim is growing something he shouldn't, or his his calculations are much more on point than my general Google searching. So
to add on to this, the equation is E equals MC squared, right? So
Exactly.
Energy, which is a byproduct from the wind turbine spinning, if you have more mass and the same speed, you're still generating more energy. If you can increase the speed, but you have smaller mass, you're still generating more energy. If you can combine the two, well, then you're doing peak efficiency, right? We got to remember that these are test samples that they're doing. There's been no official statement that this is the company that they are for sure working with. Look at the connections that they've been already establishing over in Utah. Brandon Fugel, just one simple example. What very well could end up happening is that they license the technology after the patenting is done for this nanoparticle technology, which then allows for the wind turbines to spin more efficiently. And then they could use that license with other distributors, whether it be other wind turbines that have already been established, and they're just trying to add on to those, which I don't think that's the case, because they are trying to make things be much more eco-friendly. But you could have another company that gets established that creates turbines similar to what Semtech has, but it just is designed a little bit more on a scalable sense. The other thing too is that when we use the example where you're trying to figure out, okay, how much energy does my house have if I got one of these wind turbines for personal use? Yeah, you could look at that. But when we're talking about scaling up for a mass country, you could potentially just connect them all to a grid-based system. So you find locations where you have peak efficiency for wind turbines, and that's probably not going to be right next to your house. That's more going to be where you have coastal winds. Something else that was presented by somebody else in the community, I thought this was really interesting. They had showed a video of a wind turbine. It looked a lot like the Semtech one, and it was located on the freeway. So as buses were driving by, cars were driving by, that created its own kinetic energy to help push that wind on these wind turbines. And it was just constantly moving because there was so much traffic. When you think about the Gambia, there's not a lot of traffic that's actually coming in. You only have about 200,000 cars that exist in their, 2.2 million population. It's a little bit of a smaller country. And you've got a very minimal amount. I think it's 30,000 cars a year that are crossing through the border. There's certain locations, for example, they have a bridge which goes across a river-based section. You might get a little bit more wind efficiency there. You might be able to pull in a little bit from cars driving by. So this idea of sort of, if there's no natural wind, generating wind using other sources is something that I think is very plausible. Maybe not so much with the Gambia, but remember, the Gambia is a starting place. If they start expanding out into other countries that have larger populations, you could find more viable areas where you can get much more out of the performance for these wind turbines. So could be potentially different wind turbines than what we're seeing from the testing. They could be larger, but with the nanoparticle technology, I think we can all agree, as far as energy equals mass times the speed of light, you're talking about speed, you're increasing the speed velocity with this nanoparticle technology. So that in its own regard is improving on the system models we currently use.
I will say I do live on a mountain right on the top. It's called Windy Hill. And sometimes when I walk outside, I feel like I'm going to be blown off the mountain. So, and I did that calculations of the most ridiculous winds possible. And I still needed more than I need. I mean, these were all based on the smaller ones without the nanoparticles applied to them. And like you said, we're not entirely sure if they're the company that they're going with. But yeah, I would need a lot of wind turbines, even despite the fact that a plane wouldn't even need a runway to just take off here.
That's incredible. Tim, that should be a video for you. You should do a video in regards to your specific usage of your house and how many wind turbines you would need to actually power your house, and just deep dive into that rabbit hole and send it to John. So you can.
Yeah, I definitely want to see that. I want to see that research. So
yeah, that'd be incredible.
Yeah, that's
And
crazy.
you should buy
One
the
turbine is
real
2%.
turbines.
I don't got that
you should
kind of
buy
dough,
them and
bro.
set them all up in your backyard. Just to
Yeah,
show
do like a live test and say, John, what are these turbines? I need the bigger ones.
I'll just
And then
clear
he'll
out
just-
the acre next to me that I have and just
Perfect.
put all wind turbines up.
Perfect.
That's hilarious. So I think I'm going to get to the super chats in between changing the subject. So I do have two here that I do want to get through right away. So Jack Yan, can you guys give a shout out to my cousin? He's next to me driving. Slymar Henry, SafeMoon is the future. What's up, Slymar? I think I'm saying that right.
Silmar.
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 What's up,
Henry.
Silmar?
Silmar.
Woo!
Silmar Henry, what is up, my boy? Shout out to you. And there's one more that came through a bit earlier. Safemoon Oz V2. See him next. Payroll Tim. So, John, if you're watching this, get Tim on your payroll. Hire him. He can be your private investigator to do whatever you want. Find your long lost dog or whatever you want to be found. Tim can find it. He's good at that kind of stuff, finding people.
I will
So-
strap a
Extra
wind
stock.
turbine to his Tesla.
Okay, so we're going to move on to the next topic here, which is going to be the Bitmark buyback. Now, why is this a topic? So today was a very interesting day. So Bitmark supported the version 2 migration, and version 2 Safemoon went live today. Now, there's quite a bit of talks in regards to the buyback is happening today. And I saw on Twitter, on Discord, there's quite a few people hyping up the potential of that buyback happening right now due to version 2 being available. I don't think it's happened as of the moment we're live. I haven't seen the charts go incredible, and people would be foaming in the chat. So I don't think it's happened as of yet. But when it comes to Bitmark, we don't have to elaborate too much on this. Just going to go from guy to guy. Generation Crypto, at this current point, what do you think is the holdup, and when do you see a realistic time frame for that happening?
For the buyback portion of
Yes.
the Bitmark.
The buyback, and you can elaborate. Trading being available for V2 if you want to go deeper into it as well.
Yeah, so as far as I understand, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but when I read that article that they released last night, it sounded like they took a snapshot of where everyone was with the V1, and they are doing the consolidation for everyone to V2. And then as of tomorrow, everyone will be able to withdraw that V2. So I'm not sure how things work necessarily on the back end, but it sounds like as part of this migration process, they're not necessarily doing a buyback, but they're basically allowing you to withdraw the V2, which therefore means there needs to be funds behind them. So I don't know if they're on the back end, if they're planning on like doing it as people withdraw, try to buy time, or if so it's kind of like an IOU in that use case, or if they're just as people are being migrated, they're just gonna essentially make that buyback happen in that moment. So I don't think we're gonna get necessarily a buyback moment. Either it's happening now as they're migrating, they've worked out some deal with the SafeMoon team, or it's going to happen when people withdraw if they need to withdraw. And it's going to be kind of like how, you go to the bank, they don't actually have your money sitting at the bank. It's kind of an IOU because it's actually elsewhere being invested. But if you need to pull out, they've got funds reserved for that. So I don't know if that's how they're going to set things up for now, or what they're planning on doing on the back end side of things. But as far as I understand, everyone who's a holder on Bitmark that's now been migrated over to V2 as of tomorrow, when you're able to withdraw, you've basically been made whole as a user because you will be able to withdraw those funds at the current value. So from a user's end perspective, for all intents and purposes, the buyback has already essentially happened for you.
So Atlas, kind of elaborating a bit more on what Generation Crypto just talked about. The buyback most likely is not going to happen the way we think. This incredible big green candle, double the price, just Bitmark bought 28 billion worth of SafeMoon directly on the charts. We're not going to have that effect. Do you think there's going to be a backlash with the approach that Generation Crypto suggested? And what are your thoughts overall when it comes to resuming trading and the buyback specifically?
Personally, I don't think there's going to be a ton of backlash because the way that I was analyzing things earlier from what John had said, he made a statement earlier today where he said that when people withdraw off of Bitmart, that's going to force Bitmart to actually buy off of the market. So to me, that suggests that money backing that's behind all of the SafeMoon that's out there, they probably already have something that's established there because you can't withdraw something if there's nothing that's actually there. So it's a rumor that I heard earlier, unless new data has come out in the last couple hours. But the rumor is that SafeMoon had worked with them as part of the liquidity pool to help with that, essentially as an IOU. And so every time that something gets withdrawn off of the exchange, Bitmart then has to go over to SafeMoonSwap and buy the equal amount. So when you look at the price discrepancies, we go back to what happened with SafeMoon version 1 and SafeMoon version 2, right? Arbitrage. A lot of people were saying, well, I'm going to move it over to version 2. I'm going to sell it for a higher price. We've been looking at the charts here, and guess what? SafeMoonSwap's been at a higher price. I'm not exactly sure where Bitmart is at the moment, but if you do have people that are off-ramping off of Bitmart, moving over to the SafeMoonSwap side, and they go to sell it there, supply and demand, simple economics, that's going to cause the price to start to drop. However, if Bitmart is in a position where they are buying back every time somebody is moving off of their exchange to go do that, well, then guess what? That's going to cause the price to go back up. So I think you're going to find this balancing out effect, but we have a very high likelihood based on how much activity that users are going to be doing in response to all this, that we could see a lot of reflections. We could see a lot of volume. And that balance of price where Bitmart was, because not a lot of people have been proactively trading in it since everyone's been so concerned about if it's actually going to get a buyback or not, that could pull itself out to even out. Same thing with the SafeMoon price over on SafeMoonSwap. And then we can just naturally move forward, but we get a whole bunch of reflections during the process as these different players are migrating out over to other wallets. So I think that is where we might end up going if they don't do the buyback, which we still have a little bit of time and they may end up doing it. I want to make another quick side note is that there was an official statement from Bitmart earlier today. They had done this over on their website. I don't know if you guys caught this or not, but for those of you that are Bitmart holders, you've been wondering about your reflection rewards for the last 2 months while all this stuff has been going on. They also made a statement. They're going to be handling that and distributing the rewards. I think it was January 15th. RJ, did you see the same article earlier?
Are you talking about from the point they set it to January 15th? It's going to be, well, I also saw that they're going to be doing daily reflections also.
Yes, for version 2. But for all the version 1, the setbacks that happened the last 2 months, they're going to be taking care of that for wallet holders. And there's kind of discussions going on. If you guys want to give any thoughts on this too, but some people are saying like, oh, I'm going to wait to not withdraw my funds off of Bitmart until after I have secured getting those reflections on the January 15th day or whatever. They handle that. Okay, now everything's fully over version 2. They pay out daily. That's great. But I don't want to be here anymore. And they move off.
We have two very interesting scenarios here that I'm both fine with. Either a direct buyback of the entire amount of SafeMoon owed, or the fractional buyback, as as someone wants to withdraw the exchange. As you say, they go over to Safemoon Swap and they buy that specific amount. So going over to RJ, when it comes to those two specific scenarios, one incredible buyback or the fractional buyback that's essentially still going to be a buyback, but it's just going to be a prolonged buyback. Which option do you like when it comes to your preference? Do you think this is going to have a big backlash on the community if we do the fractional buyback over the one big amount? And just your overall thoughts on the buyback in general.
Moonboy, you're always giving me these curveball questions because I've been pre-thinking my answers, and then you give me these curveballs. This is twice. This is twice, Moonboy. I think you're trying to troll me.
Hands up, don't shoot. I'm just the host.
Yeah. So, I think what everyone is really looking for, the answer everyone wants to hear, is a massive buyback, right? They want the whole thing. They want this massive green candle, just the same way that we got absolutely affected with the massive red candle. But I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, and everyone can chime in with their thoughts, of course, but I don't think that's going to happen. Okay, first and foremost, I think this, in my opinion, I can be absolutely empathetic to everyone that was and holding to Bitmark, right? I know everyone was affected. You can feel the frustration building up in Twitter spaces. You can feel the energy and the frustration, the sheer frustration. But now that CEO John Caroni and Bitmark has come out with this communication, I think this is the step in the right direction. It's a step. It's not the overall step, right? I think it's a step in the absolute right direction to rectifying and making everyone whole. It's several ways to really look at it. The way I look at it is, first and foremost, like you guys said, right? I believe it's tomorrow. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Tomorrow, once they unlock the potential and the ability for everyone to sell, that is a huge win, because a lot of people felt like they were prisoners and they didn't have access to sell if they wanted to. That choice was taken away from them. Now that Bitmark is giving them that choice again, they now have the ability to stay within Bitmark if they want, or they have the ability to sell. And from a community standpoint, that's a really, really good thing, right? Now, from an overall standpoint, I know, like I said, everyone wants to see that massive green candle, but I think we're going to see it in staggered and staged approaches. It's still going to be good for our volume, because now newcomers that want to get in a Bitmart and people that want to be able to buy Safemoon directly like that without having to do the swap, it's still going to drive good volume to Safemoon, but we're not going to see an igniting green candle like everyone is hoping for.
RJ, for a guy that has to answer on the spot, you do very well. I think your on the spot answers are better than your pre-thought answers. So I'm going to keep putting you on the spot because I like what you're saying. I really do. So moving over to the final man himself, Safemoon Tim. We have two scenarios here when it comes to an incredible green candle, which is preferable. If you got the red candle, we deserve the green. But there's also the fractional buybacks when it comes to, as people withdraw or sell, Bitmark buys back that specific portion. What are your thoughts? Do you think that's going to be well received by the community? And just overall, do you have a date in regards to when this is going to happen? Or if it's fractional, it's just going to be over time?
Okay, so we all wanted a super buyback, right? We all wanted to see that price shoot up. Everyone gets excited. But I think there's people that were also anticipating that. So they bought a lot in hopes that that would happen. So the second that it would shoot up, they would drop it. And so when you could predict something like that happening, you always invest more than you normally would, because you know that you can make quite a bit of profit off it. And so this is the reason why it's not good to give solid dates when you're releasing stuff, because then when as people will buy in like crazy because they know other people are going to get it and buy in on that. And then the second that it's about to release, they drop it and it just kills the price. But I think the way that they did this whole thing is brilliant, because in a way, if we wanted that green spike to happen, all we would have to do is just tell everyone on Bitmark, the second that you could sell. Because the second you could transfer off of Bitmark onto the wallet, just go right to the wallet. We would get that spike that we were all asking for. It would fly straight up, because then Bitmark would have to go in for every single transaction that transferred off and buy from the DEX through SafeMoon Swap and interact with the blockchain. So we'd all get a crazy amount of reflection. So with the people coming over, we'd get a crazy spike, but then those people anticipating that spike would also start selling and then drop down the price. So I think in a way it works best case scenario for both, because we will get the spike if people wanted it. You can just collectively get together on Twitter and just say, hey guys, the second that you could transfer Bitmark. And then that would put, their finger to the flames and say, okay, now we have to buy 20 some billion tokens right from the DEX and just give out those reflections, and those people will be off there. So I think that's why they're talking about daily reflections, and they're talking about this date that they're going to wait for. So in hopes that people don't do that, because that would be a massive buyback that everyone was hoping for, right? So I think the shooting to green is awesome. Everyone wants that. But I think people anticipated that would happen, and they bought more to dump it the second that it would fly up. So if it's staggered, then they're not going to make the money that they want, and they might get out a little at a time. And in the long run, it's going to benefit everybody.
Yeah, that's a great perspective. And I must admit, I even thought about loading up a little bit more for the purpose of dumping that amount that I would have bought. But I didn't do that. I have my Safemoon for my 2 to 5 year goal. But when it comes to sustainability, not affecting the charts with this massive red wick, we're going to have a green wick, a massive red wick. It might look a little funny to new investors. So to mitigate that, the small buybacks and the small increments of people selling and taking off a bit more will be more attractive overall when it comes to the health of the charts. So I do want to touch a super chat before I go into the next topic. Daniel Bush, when Meta Round Table, be the first to live stream. Seriously, hashtag Diamond Fist that. So we could tie a Meta Round Table into Safemoon, as Safemoon is talking about having their own metaverse. So it probably could happen in the future. I do appreciate your contribution. Thank you so much. And there's one more. There's actually two more that I want to get to before I move on to the next topic. Nostradamus Racing, can one of you do a video about CRT's charitable remainder trust? Sounds like a good way to lower tax liability. I am not a tax guy. I don't even pay tax, but one of these guys probably can hop on that topic for sure and talk about it. So
real quick on that one, I had done a video before, just kind of a comprehensive set of things that you could try to either eliminate your cryptocurrency taxes or dramatically reduce them down. That is one of the things that had been discussed in that. But I uploaded that a month or two ago.
Okay, cool. Crypto Alice has a very detailed video about something in regards to that's specific. Check out his channel, guys. And like I said, he has a plethora of content that you can dive deep into and spend about 5 hours just kind of go on the treadmill, walk in the gym, 5 hours on treadmill, playlist in the background, Crypto Atlas. It's a good time, trust me. Last one, 1010 Buns. Two things. So she actually sponsored the channel. Thank you for joining. I appreciate that. As well as hitting the like button to show some support. Guys, if you have not hit the like button, I would appreciate that. And one from the homie, Adam Bergman, showed up, man. So shout out to the team. Cheers, gents. You're all doing a great job. Sorry I missed tonight. Just showing some love. Keep up the amazing job. Adam, shout out to you, my boy. And I wish you, I wish you safety. And I hope that everything is well and, you're good. So
we miss you, man. You
we
and
do.
your cat.
Yeah.
Your unicorn.
We need Mr. Bigglesworth. Bigglesworth? Is that what you're...
Mr. Bigglesworth?
Isn't that what it from Austin Powers? Mr. Bigglesworth?
Bigglesworth, yeah.
Is that what it... Ooh, Mr. Bigglesworth.
Hey, Adam, people are talking about drinking in the chat and, where's Adam? When Adam this, bro. People miss you. So I know the next one's going to be fire because they're going to make a big comeback and it's going to be a hype event. I'm excited. So
yeah. Atlas said he does have that charitable remainder trust video. Adam also did one as well. For those that are just wondering what it is, I'll give you guys a quick rundown and then we can move forward because this topic is too big. What'd you say?
Never mind.
So charitable remainder trust, right, is something. It a lot of wealthy people use it, right? That's where the trust baby thing comes from. And what ends up happening is you create a charitable, like a charity, right? And you funnel a lot of the money. Again, just letting you guys know, I'm not a tax professional, so please seek a professional tax professional for this. But I'm just regurgitating some information here.
Just
So what you do is
RJ.
What's up?
I'm just using you.
just RJ. So what you do is you create that charity, right? And you put the money in there, and you pretty much take like a salary out, and that salary is taxed, right? And Alice, you like you said, you created a video on this. You're more than welcome to correct me. But what ends up happening is Adam really dived into this in a deep way as well. And what you could do is you can be the owner of that charity, right? So if I wanted to create a charity, something like something that helps animals or something like that, I can be the owner of that. You know what? I don't want to touch on the subject. It's way too big. It's a really, really big topic of conversation, but it is a tool, like Alice said, to mitigate some taxes. So
you're saying we should buy animals? Is that what I got from that? I should buy a giraffe or something?
let's just delete the last like 2 minutes of this video.
All right, everyone.
All I know is that I'm hiring RJ as my tax consultant.
Yeah, me too. Dude, just buy whatever you want. Alligator, some ostriches. I don't care.
Giraffes.
Here's the thing. I'm going to go buy a kangaroo. I'll bring it to your house, and you'll help me know what I need to do next.
It'll spin those wind turbines.
If you guys don't mind, do you mind if I touch on the first super chat we had before we continue?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Do any of you guys have like VR headsets or anything like that? Like a Quest or anything? Okay. I was just curious because I do have one, so I could say I could host one there if we ever wanted to do a metaverse version of the round table or something crazy like that. But
Metaverse Josh built a whole Safemoon area in the metaverse for all the Safemooners to go into, and I was thinking about getting one of those, but I think what is it, the Oculus 2, isn't that tied to Facebook? Doesn't Facebook own that?
Yeah, so Meta owns them, and so when they first came out, you had to have a Facebook account, and that's since changed because there was a lot of backlash on that. But yeah, Meta owns the Quest 2. There's a Quest 1 and a Quest 2, so it's the Quest 2 that you'd want to get your hands on because it's got improved graphics and battery and a bunch of other stuff. So
Safemoon Josh is still making more updates on his little Safemoon metaverse as well.
You know, I'll have to do a video with him if he's in the chat, or if anyone can reach out to him to reach out to me. I'd love to do something with him on my Quest 2 and make something happen.
RJ, I'm sorry, I didn't know. I have to buy one now if you're going to get money.
What's happening?
Apparently, you own Facebook.
Yeah, what are you hiding from us?
Adam just doxed you, bro. Look at that.
God damn it, Adam.
What do we not know about
trolling me?
RJ?
This guy's trolling me from the comments section.
That's hilarious. So we're down to our very last two topics. This one would be perfect for Adam because we're talking about liquidity. Ooh. So Safemoon, for me, dropped a bomb. Safemoon has no intentions of ever locking their liquidity again. And I like this. I like it because I understand why. For me, I get it. I trust Safemoon. I am with this project to the top or to the bottom. But when it comes to the retail investor, the new investor that are looking into new investments, and they see a project with unlocked liquidity, they're not really going to dive any further beyond that. It's going to be very hard to incentivize people to hop on a token that they know nothing about when their first impression is going to be the liquidity is unlocked and the white paper isn't super detailed. So for us who's diehard Safemoon, we can understand and we can respect this decision here. I do feel like it might hurt the potential of for one big money and new investors who are not as plugged into the Safemoon ecosystem as we are. So Generation Crypto, hopping over to you. Safemoon is no longer locking their liquidity. Give me your thoughts, and is this a good or bad thing?
Yeah, so this is actually great because I'm actually in the middle of working on a video for another project. I'd had a community poll where I asked the community, other than Safemoon, what project would you guys like me to cover next? And the overwhelming majority of that went to a specific project that I'm going to be launching on here soon. And that same other project that I'm doing a video on had an issue with their LP. So they wrote their contract, and within 12 days, they realized that the way that their token pays out with rewards, there was an error in the contract. And so they needed to immediately go over to a version 2 to kind of solve that problem. Well, the issue was they had locked their liquidity pool for the first 100 days. It was like they couldn't move it over at all. So it kind of put them in a bind because they had locked their liquidity pool to ensure, trust in the community so they don't incentivize a rug pull, they now kind of set themselves up for failure because they're having this issue of migrating from their V1 to their V2 because they can't pull over the liquidity pool. And we had that same hack with V1 with Safemoon, with some issues there, and they can't move liquidity pools over and things like that as well. So I get why it's kind of a two-edged sword, right? So when you first set up your liquidity pool and you lock it, it incentivizes a lot of people to assume, okay, that means they can't move it. This isn't a rug pull. You know, they're not going to have these issues down the road where, you know, they're going to leave us, you know, as bag holders. But that's a two-edged sword, because if there does become something that comes up where innovation needs to happen or a change needs to happen in the contract, now you can't move that liquidity. So you set yourself up for failure in a way. So it's kind of the question of what is the alternative options. I know that Everrise has a program set up right now where you can essentially set up your liquidity pool in a system where it comes up to a community vote. So if the community doesn't want you to move the liquidity pool and they don't deem it a necessary reason, then they will vote against it and you can't be moved. But if you basically, everyone agrees, okay, this is a good moving, we're moving version 1 or version 2 or what have you, they all vote, they say yes, and then they can go move forward with moving the liquidity pool over. So there's kind of unique opportunities that have been rising from other projects and other innovators to kind of solve this problem of liquidity pools. But I agree, the concept of, you know, setting up a liquidity pool and making it like, you know, locked out so no one can utilize it for extended periods of time, I don't really see a real world use for that other than just the initial, you know, trust that you can give into the development teams. There's got to be workarounds like Everrise is built out, where other, I'm sure, solutions that will rise that can kind of solve both issues, where you can still have faith that the liquidity pool is not going to get wiped out, but at the same time, you don't screw yourself. So if you need to move it down the road or it needs to go to other places, you're not basically, you know, handcuffing yourself, so you can't do that if a need arises.
You know, I actually love that you mentioned Everrise. I'm actually a holder of Everrise. I have my token staked and locked for 10 months. I believe in that project quite a bit. Their ever-own platform to where you can renounce your contract. And I believe you can also send them liquidity so they can manage that as well. That's going to be locked. And yes, there's a community vote that goes out. And if the majority of the community agrees to give the control of the contract back to developers, then they can code or do whatever they want. If not, then it's going to stay with the ever-own contract. So that could actually be the solution there when it comes to not locking the liquidity, but still giving it to someone else, which is going to lock it. The only thing that's going to unlock that is a vote. So I think that's probably going to be a good solution. And I know Papa, who, by the way, yes, is no longer with Safemoon, but he did talk to the Everrise people quite often, Titan, which is the main dev of that particular protocol. Him and Titan did have quite a few DeFi spaces together. So I know that Safemoon at least knows who Everrise is. So maybe that's an idea they're exploring. Going over the Crypto Atlas. So the unlock of liquidity and never locking it due to moving purposes and if they need to interact with it. Good, bad. What is going to happen when it comes to new investors who are not plugged in as we are? And how are they going to invest into a token that on PooCoin, it literally is going to say 9% of this wallet that owns Safemoon is unlocked? How are people going to mentally say, okay, that's fine?
Well, I think we just have to continue to evolve and adapt and understand that this industry space is only 13 years old. 2009, right, is when the Genesis block for Bitcoin was first created. We just celebrated its anniversary of 13 years on, I think it was January 4th. And something you need to consider is that when you look at how many cryptocurrency projects that are out there, especially all these new emerging ones, they're really hot. They're trending on social media. Everyone's looking for the next Dogecoin that they can jump on. And what I mean by that is something that has a very, very low price point. They can get a whole bunch in. The price just flies up. And now they're finally able to say they have financial freedom. When you look at those kinds of projects, how many of those projects that are being created have anonymous teams? You don't know who they are. There's no identification of legal registrations, any of that kind of stuff. When you lock your liquidity pool, it's essentially saying to the community, look, you don't know who we are, and you have a lot of reasons not to trust us or this project. We're going to give you one reason. And that's one reason, right? There's a whole facet of things we can talk about here. But let's just be perfectly honest. You lock your liquidity pool, people that know coding, they can go in and look and they say, hey, it went through a third party, just for example, there's no way that they could be able to access that. So that makes me feel a little bit more reassured that I can go ahead and enter into this project. Something else that you need to think about is look at what happened with Safemoon version 1 over with Bitmark, right? The liquidity that they had in their hot wallet got hacked. So what if you could eliminate having liquidity tied to exchanges? And that's something that moving forward that kind of ties in with what I had listened in on with another member of the community. And I think this also ties in with what Adam Bergman was talking about with the blockchain technology. So this individual that I was listening into was saying that in the state that he lives in, he went into the bank, and the bank actually allows customers to buy cryptocurrency, which I thought was really interesting because I've been waiting for banks to become more crypto friendly and trying to work with people on this stuff. And so he said, yeah, my state, there's a bank that allows you to go in there and you can buy cryptocurrency. The way that they do it is that they just go through Coinbase. He went and asked the bank. So Coinbase is actually doing the processing of the orders and then submitting it through. So there's no liquidity that's actually being back there. They're just charging their own percentage fee. They reach out to the exchange, they acquire it, and then they hand it over to their customer base, right? So moving forward, when we release the SafeMoon blockchain, how much of a necessity is there for liquidity in general? From what I can remember, and Adam can always correct me in the future if I'm wrong on this, it's based more on just the simple supply and demand of what's being constituted on the market value in its own regard, right? So as it is right now, you see the 10% transaction fee, those rates continue to fluctuate and the team has access to those things. So yes, there is in the transaction fee some that's going to the liquidity pool right now, but it was 4%, if I remember correctly. Now it's 3%, right? 1%'s been moved over towards this growth fund. There's nothing saying that they're going to drop it down to 2% in the future or 1% or a 0.1% because now they can do below these whole numbers. Theoretically, they might end up just making it zero. They could allocate those liquidity funds to certain other things in regards because now liquidity is no longer needed. Or based on how you implement this stuff, you don't need as much liquidity to be able to have these different access points. So I think the whole idea that you need to lock in your liquidity is a little bit more of an outdated principle. And as communities continue to get integrated in with all the new things that are coming up in crypto, yield farming, you've got the DeFi space, right? You got all these different NFTs and things, right? There's still things. Think about this. We are so early. In the next 10 years, there's probably going to be at least one or two other things that will get invented that's tied to Web 3.0, to cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology that we haven't even considered yet. So we're just that early in. And I think this is a step moving forward. Having an LLC, registered company, transparency of who the team is. These are a lot of legitimate points that SafeMoon brings to the table that a lot of other projects don't have.
Powerful. Very good perspective. RJ, when it comes to liquidity and what SafeMoon is doing.
Are you going to change the question up on me?
No.
Sounds like it.
A little bit.
Anything you're thinking about is now erased.
No, it's not going to be anything difficult. So SafeMoon, we know that SafeMoon loves to do things differently. Are they about to innovate the idea of what contracts should do with their liquidity instead of locking it for the purpose of trust from their holders? Keeping it on lock, which you might deter people away, but you have access to have better with your contract. Is this the beginning of even further innovation in which other cryptos will follow SafeMoon, or is it a bad play? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's a good play. Okay. And the reason I say that is because, you guys have already touched on it a lot. And CEO John Caroni has said in multiple tweets now, I'll try and keep this short and sweet, right? John has said locking liquidity is an archaic way, because what ends up happening is that was a way, like Alice said, is a way to build trust on a team that isn't doxed and you don't know them, right? It's the best way to build that trust. Hey, we're not going to touch this liquidity. Now you can see for yourself, we can't touch it for X amount of years. It is absolutely safe to say at this point in SafeMoon that these guys are here as a tech company and they're here to stay. They're here to innovate. They have headquarters in Utah. They have a completely doxed team. And, let me just ask this, how many times can you say that on some of the crypto projects that I'm just talking in general, that you guys are involved with, right? A lot of them refuse to dox themselves. And so with that being said, we know the people behind SafeMoon. We know the team. We know they have headquarters in the US, so they're not trying to hide anywhere, right? They're here. They're trying to get on top of regulations and stuff like that and make sure it's all done correctly. So with that being said, I am all for having unlocked liquidity because we already know the team behind it, and we know that they can use those funds to better propel and move SafeMoon towards, you know, the eventual future that we're all wanting, which is financial freedom.
Very good perspective. So, Safemoon Tim, when the typical person invests, there's three things people usually look for: docs team, audit, lock liquidity. Three things. This is the staple of when you want to find a good project. Safemoon has removed one of these. So now you're going to see a docs team and audit, but wait, liquidity is unlocked. That's a little funny. The traditional way that we've always invested have been following essentially those three principles. Not financial advice, do your own thing. That's what I've always done when it comes to picking up my tokens and projects. SafeMoon removing that. You as an investor looking at SafeMoon for the first time, does that affect you, or are you still going to give the project its very own moment? And overall, do you think it's a good play for the future?
Okay, so I think when you're looking at crypto projects, yes, there are three great points. When you're looking at a tech company, how many companies that you invest in the stock market have locked liquidity? You know, saying that we're never going to sell, you know, we have X amount of dollars that we're never going to get rid of for X amount of time. So I think the issue is when you're looking at this, you're looking at it at a point where, okay, this is only cryptocurrency. We're not looking at it from the tech company standpoint. And that's one of the things that John kept bringing up over and over again. He goes, we are a tech company. You know, yes, they deal with cryptocurrency, which is great. And that they're building the tech around to use their cryptocurrency, which I think is amazing. But in a large, that's what their whole ecosystem is going to be focused on, is that they're building all this tech. They're going to have their own network. They're going to have their own telecommunications network. They're going to have their own products that they're putting out. They're going to have their own marketplace that they're putting out. They're going to have these smart cities or whatever these electrical grids being these utilities everywhere. So it's more than just a cryptocurrency than you're purchasing. So, and this goes back to what everyone else was saying. These guys, we know who they are, right? So like, they're not going to, they know we know them too. And now they're doing YouTube lives. So we get to see them. So we know what they look like. We know where their headquarters are. Like, they're not afraid to say, look, we're a tech company. We're building all this tech. You know, we're not here to steal from you. And this always goes back. The main thing that I look at when I'm looking at other projects is, who are the people running these projects, right? You want to see who's the ones in charge. So you could do your research on that person and say, okay, what has this person done before? Or what kind of schooling do they have? Is it just Joe Schmo who rolled over under a bridge and decided to make a coin called Baby Super Doge Mini Woo Woo Folky, something like that, you know? And then you're just like, oh, I'm going to buy this, but you don't know who this guy is. And all you see is like a little meme character, and it just says Bob, you know, where you can't do any research on that person, but yet they have locked liquidity, right? So does that make you want to purchase that coin even more because they're saying that they have locked liquidity, as compared to a coin that you have veterans that are fully doxed, that you know where they work, they have a headquarters? Like, how many of these places that are setting up these fraudulent parties have all this stuff that's out there? So I think in a way it is not a problem, because you're investing in a tech company. And this is one of the things that Ryan, the Safemoon Hound brought up. He said, look, you're investing in a company that you normally wouldn't be allowed to invest in. You know, you would need hundreds of thousands of dollars to invest in a tech company like this if you were trying to get into it on the stock market. What they're doing now is allowing small investors to buy in through this token to invest in this major tech company that's going to evolve technology as we know it. And so I think having a locked liquidity pool doesn't really matter. I think that is something of the past, just like John said. We fully know who they are. We know that we're investing in a tech company besides just a cryptocurrency. And I think that makes all the difference.
You guys hit the nail on the head. Very good perspectives overall. And I do agree overall when it comes to the sentiment of the chat here. So going over to some super chats, and then we'll hop into the very last topic of the stream. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and checking out our, Safemoon Round Table. Every week we do this, and it's very good to get the support from everyone who's tuning in and hearing what we have to say. So, Michael, I'd like to nominate myself for a board of directors position in RJ's Save the River Otter 501c3 nonprofit. RJ, can you elaborate on this nonprofit and what is up with saving otters?
Yeah, man, for sure. Always save the otters. That's what I say.
I'm in. How much you want?
Save the otters, all of them, for sure.
Shout out to Michael. Thank you so much for the support. I do appreciate that. We have Kirk over here. Kirk, with Bitmark transfer to V2, how many members on V2? So I think right now, V2, I think it's a little over 500K, if I'm not mistaken, when it comes to how many people that have migrated over. How many people are going to cross over from Bitmark specifically? I don't know. I don't know Bitmark's numbers. If someone wants to elaborate further on how much will transition over from the Bitmark side. I don't think the numbers count for centralized exchanges, right? Or does it? Someone can elaborate on that?
They do not. I remember John had talked about in the past when we were looking at Safemoon's wallet holder count right around, I think it was 1.5 million. They were speculating that if you factored in the wallets that exist on all of those exchanges, again, we're talking about Safemoon version 1, he was estimating it would have been closer to about 2.5 to 3 million total wallet holders. Something else to keep in mind is that people that are on the Bitmart, if they move out, they may move their stuff out to a pre-existing wallet. So it's not like they're all independent. Some people are on multiple exchanges with wallets, and some people make multiple wallets just on their own. So these numbers are always something you need to take with a little bit of a grain of salt. But yeah, if you're looking at what we have right now, I wouldn't be surprised if we have in excess of 1 million wallets technically.
Yeah.
I just looked the number up, and it's 514,694.
So I was off by 14,000.
There you go.
It's an incredible number. Last super chat, and then we'll move on to the very last talking point. So CBGB, where can I see the volume off of my Safemoon wallet? So volume-wise, if you are in the Safemoon wallet, you can actually see the reflections tracker, and you're not going to see, for example, how much volume you're getting. You can see the amount of Safemoon you're earning and the USD value of that Safemoon. So that's in the wallet. I think there's a cool website, Safemoon Blue Giz or something, where you can actually that one. So you can actually type in your bag size, and you can change the volume, play with the circulating supply to see what your reflections are going to be in the future, current. So you can actually hop over there as well if you did want to play around with the reflections and see what that looks like. So moving on to the very last topic of our podcast live stream here. How would you describe Safemoon now? This is actually brought up a little bit in the AMA, and I've actually been thinking about this question as well. So let's say we have someone who has never heard about Safemoon, might have even been a previous flutter, because the first initial impression of Safemoon was that it's just a reflection token. You get paid off of buys and sells, and that's all it is. This doesn't make any sense. It's Ponzi-ish. Obviously, we know better. So I want to ask each of you specifically to describe Safemoon to someone who has, one, never seen Safemoon, or the scenario of someone who was a flutter but not too knowledgeable in Safemoon. How would you try to educate them further? So going over to Crypto Generation first, Generation Crypto.
So if I was going to describe Safemoon to somebody kind of in a brief synopsis, because I could probably talk for a couple hours on what Safemoon really is.
Not allowed, 2 minutes tops.
Yeah. You're just going to crush this question. I already know it. I heard you answer this like a million times.
So if I was to describe Safemoon, it depends on how they ask it. But when you start at the basics, I would say Safemoon is a cryptocurrency. More specifically, it's a token on the Binance Smart Chain. Now, that's what it is on its face. But beyond that face, there's a company behind that's innovating in a Web 3.0 future where they're trying to build an entire ecosystem that's going to unify all of not just DeFi, but cryptocurrency in general, to make it something that is no longer just something that is only accessible to the professionals or the deep divers into the cryptocurrency, but to your basic end user. So we've seen this in a lot of ways with them adding contacts, with the way that they've made the swap feature, and they've made the wallet so user-friendly. They're basically taking the things that you already know, understand, and love through your phone, through your banking systems, and they're making it just as easy for cryptocurrency by bringing in a card, by bringing in a wallet, contacts, by bringing in an exchange. And they're making all these other features that already exist in the already existing cryptocurrency network, and they're putting it all into one place and super easy to use, understand, and utilize to its full potential. So I would liken SafeMoon in a lot of ways to Apple and to Amazon. I would say they're kind of the cryptocurrency version of the baby of these two companies. And why I say that is because Apple was disruptive in this space, and they brought an ecosystem that functioned really well together and was very easy to use for the end user. So I'd say that aspect of it is what SafeMoon is trying to accomplish on that side. But on the Amazon side, I would say that a lot of the elements they are bringing together already exist. So when you go to someone, you tell them, SafeMoon built an exchange, they're going to go, so what? There's 50 other exchanges I know of that were built. They're building a blockchain. There's, I know 50, 100 other places that have built the blockchain. Well, they're building this, they're building that, and they're going to come up with the rebuttal saying this other project has already done that. That's not revolutionary. And that's the same with Amazon. I mean, when Amazon came out and built its thing and developed into what it became, it started as a book company, just like SafeMoon started as a token, but it developed into this giant company that innovated and was able to take already existing spaces and improve upon them. There already existed e-commerce. There already existed stores you could go to and purchase things. There already existed companies that would ship direct to you. But what they did is they made it all extremely user-friendly. They made it fast, and they made it easy to use. So instead of having to go to the Nike store to buy your shoes and then have to go over here and go to this other store to buy this thing, you could look for everything that you ever wanted on Amazon in a catalog, and you could get it to your house in a couple of days. So it made everything in one place and easy to use. And that is what SafeMoon is doing for not only SafeMoon, but the entire cryptocurrency community.
Wow, that is definitely
generation. Hold on one second, man.
Yeah, man.
Do you tell? So let's say you're doing a vlog, right? and you go to a university or you go to a restaurant and you're like, hey, would you describe SafeMoon? That is your pitch every single time.
Yeah,
that's a great pitch.
Do you practice that with your wife?
That's a crazy pitch, bro. That's a crazy pitch.
Yeah, man.
I'm the crazy uncle at the party, okay?
Come over here and let me show you how to use this wallet, son.
The story of the SafeMoon.
This is
Generation
tokenomics.
hit
Look,
all the heads on the head, man. That was definitely a home run for me. So Crypto Atlas, piggybacking off of that, I want to give you the scenario of now talking to a fudder, someone who has initially categorized SafeMoon as a Ponzi, but they don't know much of anything. They don't know about the wind turbines. They have no idea. The team is docs. They have no idea about the future, the direction, the wallet, the exchange, the blockchain. They had their first initial reaction of, what is this token? Paying people out in reflection. I'm getting taxed. I don't like that. How do you talk to that kind of person? How do you pitch SafeMoon to that person?
So let's start off with the most simplistic thing. A Ponzi scheme is going to require new investors to come in. The beautiful thing about SafeMoon is that it doesn't matter how much SafeMoon that you have. Everyone is rewarded whenever there are trades going through. And that's where this transaction fee comes into play. It's not about punishing people and just having all this benefit go over to the company. It's about utilizing the fee mechanics to create this ecosystem where people actually get rewarded for holding. When you look comparison to the fiat, to the dollar, you think that, oh, I hold $100 in my bank account a year from now, I'm going to get rewarded with it with an interest rate. But when you have inflation, the true value of that buying power with that $100 goes down. So you're looking at something that's like SafeMoon where it's hyper deflationary. And that's because of that transaction fee that has value that's being added in to this ecosystem. So now you actually are getting substantially rewarded more. Excuse me. I don't know what happened there. You're getting substantially rewarded more for holding in comparison to a standard system. So a lot of people that are appealed to the idea of a savings account or, a CD account and banks and stuff, it's just not like it was 50 years ago. You can't keep printing out more of these currencies and expecting something like that to really make a big difference on this. So you want to get rewarded better than all these other cryptocurrency projects that are out there in a sustainable way that's built behind a strong tech-based company that is evolving. Let's forget about a revolution. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. What we need to do is look at how the world is changing and adapt to those circumstances and be able to provide a form of mechanisms that can make it as efficient as possible and as sustainable as possible. If you try and bring something brand new into an equation, it may not work. But if you look at the equation, you say, what is it that we're missing to make this make sense? I think that's where Safemoon's coming in.
Powerful, very, very powerful. And I like that as well. My idea for this question is that I actually want to make this segment into a video that I have up and coming. So I'll use all of you guys' responses in that video, just to let you know. RJ, I want to put you in front of Shark Tank. I want to put you in front of Kevin O'Leary. I want to put you in front of
Mr. Wonderful.
Lori, that whole crew, people who have big money, people who are typical Bitcoin investors, Ethereum investors. They don't really come out of the top 5 coins for no reason. Talking to that kind of person, which is that's a hard conversation. How do you sell SafeMoon, and what kind of confidence can you give to big money who traditionally don't buy smaller cap altcoins, especially something like SafeMoon, who has not had a good reputation from launch?
I think you should give that one to Tim. Tim's got loaded answers for something.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, for sure. My type of answer, Moon Boy, would be something I would not land Kevin O'Leary in Shark Tank whatsoever. Zero chances.
Oh, wow.
So
Tim,
look,
how about
yeah,
go ahead.
Tim, take that one.
You want me to take it? I got this.
For
Yeah,
sure.
take it.
Yo, you want to buy the best tech company. All right. You want to buy the best cryptocurrency out there. You want to be filthy rich, not financial advice. Buy Safemoon.
Hey, I think
I love it. I love
it.
it.
That's all you need.
I love it.
Okay, RJ. Yeah, that's a hard one to follow up on. I think Tim just killed it. I can even skip you if you want, but I'm gonna let you elaborate. So give me your SafeMoon pitch to a friend. Let's say John is your little brother. Sure. You're walking to school and the teacher's asking, who's John? How do you describe John? Which in this case is SafeMoon. You're describing SafeMoon to a teacher, someone who's a bus driver, the regular person. How do you describe it to that person?
These questions are so specific, bro. Just leave it open-ended, man. Be like, yo, how would you describe Safemoon Go? You're like, listen, you got a little brother named Timmy. Timmy's got a sister. I want you to describe Safemoon to that particular situation.
Hey, I'm the role play. I'm Tim. Hey, okay, what's the Safemoon they keep talking about,
bro?
He's so wearing an orange shirt. He's 7'6",
question, but it's
280 pounds.
It's the same question. I'm just changing who you guys are talking to. That's it.
No, man.
So you're talking to the regular person who has a regular job, a bagger, a cashier. I made everyone talk to someone else. You're talking to regular 9-to-5 people. Talk to those people. Sell safe.
Perfect. All right, look. The way I like to pitch things is to enable critical thinking. All right. I love to let people think for themselves. So when people are like, RJ, why should I invest in Safemoon when there's literally trillions and thousands of other tokens and coins out there, right? So the first thing I would ask is, what do you guys like to invest in? And a lot of people be like, well, actually there was a Twitter space where some people were bashing on our boy Jeremiah, and they're like, what does SafeMoon have right now? What have they released right now? And I just wanted to get in there and help out Jeremiah at that one point and say, listen, what do you guys think angel investors do? Right? Angel investors invest in a product that has potentiality, right? So if we take a look at a company like Rivian, right? An EV company like Rivian that's supposed to be a competitor to Tesla. What the heck has Rivian produced? Nothing, right? You're investing in the potential of Rivian. And that's what Safemoon is. You are investing in the potential of a company that has an insane community backing and is a tech company that is innovating. The best thing about Safemoon is the longer you hold, the more tokens you get, and down the line, the more coins you get. Mic drop.
Drop the mic. Tim, drop the mic. Oh, man. Awesome, man. RJ killed it, my boy. I appreciate that. Like I said, I'll be using all your answers, as a segment to a video. You guys killed it when it comes to describing Safemoon to a specific set of people. This is where we end off. That was the entire podcast. We can leave. Hey, thank you
All right,
for
thanks.
tuning in. I appreciate everyone. Well, no, don't actually. Don't actually get up and leave it now. Hey guys, yeah, we like to have fun over here, man. Just a good time. We're talking about things we love, but we're also, we're all friends here. We all like to have a good time. So, hey, everyone, all 400 of you who's watching, I appreciate the support. Everyone who is participating, as well as Adam. YouTubes are down below. Check them out. There's a plethora of content when it comes to anything and everything Safemoon related. I'll have all the guys close off. I'll have all the guys close off to kind of give their own very specific outros. So, Generation, your final says.
Thank you guys for tuning in. It's always a pleasure to have you guys in the chat. I love some of your comments. They make me laugh. I'm trying to keep a straight face during some of those comments. Thank you guys all to the panel for always showing up every week and bringing in strong to the mic in this conversation to pull some words from Safemoon After Dark. Thank you guys for all tuning in. If you guys haven't already, check out all these guys' channels. They all do a lot of great work. If you haven't become members of their channels, it's a great way to support them. So if you guys can see there's a join button if you're on the desktop version for all of their different channels. You're going to get cool perks. They're going to release exclusive content. You get cool emojis you can throw up in the chats and all that good stuff. So if you want to support these awesome creators, go ahead and join their memberships. And, of course, check out, as always, Crypto Atlas's NFT series that he's been releasing.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely. Definitely check out Crypto Atlas NFT series. Sold out. It's like every hour gone. Talk to us about the NFTs, bro, and give us your outro.
Yeah, sure. So explorenft.app is a website that does support content creators. If you make your own NFTs, or if you're looking to buy NFTs and you want to support the SafeMoon community, you can go check them out. They do now support SafeMoon version 2. So I have personally sold 4 different pieces so far. My 5th one is available if anybody wants to buy that. The price I keep doubling, and people have been buying these. And just a little hint, I did mention something on Twitter earlier today. So if you guys are on Twitter, I'm at CryptoAtlasYT. I'm going to be releasing something very soon to help show some extra things for those of you who are in the SafeMoon community participating in this. So I got a fun surprise coming for sure. And you know what's great too, by the way, is that let's say these guys, they go and make some NFTs, they sell it up on there. Any of you in the stream, if you're watching, you go make something up on there. Anyone buys that, that's part of the SafeMoon ecosystem. There is SafeMoon being burned and reflections that are going out to all the rest of the wallet holders. So you're just creating another use case. And, of course, I want to thank Moonboy very much for hosting this week on the roundtable. I think you did a phenomenal job. I was teasing you, and I'm sure RJ was teasing you and everyone else when you're being so specific with your questions. But, I think you did a very good job. And
thank you.
All these guys, we've been doing multiple roundtables together. They're great people. They have a lot of good information, and they elaborate in the fact that they're supplying this to the rest of the community is great. And it's a community-based thing. A lot of this stuff that we end up in our videos is because of you guys. So I think SafeMoon as a community is potentially the strongest. If you ask my personal opinion, it's the strongest cryptocurrency community that's out there. And moving forward, there's going to be more credibility. More of the naysayers are not going to have things to be able to justify why they feel this isn't going to happen. Because then you can just go down the list and be like, they did this, the wallet, they got the exchange out, the blockchain, look at the cards already out. They adapted to version 2. The team's been restructured. LLC, the liquidity pool has been figured out. Insurance backing, look at SafeMoon Connect. You go on this long list of things. It's like, what else are they going to be able to try and pick apart? So if you guys keep going down the rabbit hole, you find some other interesting things, feel free. Talk about it on social media. This is stuff that the SafeMoon team might pick up on. There might be a business out there that can create that third-party thing you're talking about, which enhances SafeMoon even more. And this is just such a phenomenal time that we're in, guys. We are almost a year, right? We're in this kind of phase where a lot of the people that came in just to make a quick buck, they're out, and now the credibility is building. And where we're going to next, we have a lot of these things that's now been told to us. It's not about where we are right now. Picture where this team, the project, the price, everything a year and a half from now is going to be. What is going to be happening in the world, and how is SafeMoon going to be working alongside that? When you start looking at those things, then you'll start to get as excited as a lot of us do.
Awesome, powerful, very good outro. RJ,
Long
Talk to me
though.
about when
Sorry.
it comes to exiting a podcast, and how do you feel about leaving and waiting for the whole, what's it, 5, 6, 7 days for the next one coming around? What are those feelings like, and how do you actually leave and just say bye? Like, what is that exit?
First and foremost, I didn't know we were closing it down. I'm kind of sad. Okay, I'm very sad right now. I do want to ask.
Sad otter.
I'm a sad otter for sure. Now, I have one question, if that's okay, if you guys have it in you, and it's a sincere question because it's something that I'm passionate about. And how do you guys feel the SafeMoon card is gonna feel and look like in terms of rewards, and how they plan to compete with something like .com? Because I want something fire, right? Everyone knows, a lot of people know that I'm really using crypto.com as my vehicle to send money, to transfer money, and to load my crypto.com card. So someone tell me what you guys think SafeMoon will do, because right, they told us, oh, you could spend not only SafeMoon but other cryptos as well. But you know, crypto.com can do that also. So I want to hear some fire stuff because I want a reason to leave crypto.com for sure. But what are you guys' thoughts? Is it potentially for every swipe? So crypto.com, right? For every swipe, the second tier card, you get 2% cash back in the form of CRO tokens. Is it going to be like that for SafeMoon, where for every single swipe we get 1 to 2% back in the form of SafeMoon on top of our reflections? That would just be too crazy, right? Someone tell me what's up. What's up?
The only thing I care about is it being available in my country. The crypto.com card is not available where I live. No crypto card, regardless of whatever exchange it is not available in my country. So SafeMoon separates itself when it comes to it being more accessible. If they can be more accessible to the globe, not just specific US, Canada, the UK, and parts of Europe, if they can make it to portions of the Caribbean, Central America, and where they're trying to target, which is Africa and the Gambia, that is what's going to separate them from everything else, because it's very difficult to get these cards if you don't live in these specific countries. It's very hard. I met the requirements to get a crypto.com card, and I applied for it, but my country is on a wait list to be accepted so that I can get my card
for crypto.com.
My country's on the wait list. I messaged saying,
taxes.
I
don't pay taxes. You don't get cards, bro.
Well, I staked my CRO. I think it was for like a 6-month period or something. You had to stake it. I messaged saying, hey, my staking period is up. I want my card. Nope, sorry, your country's on a wait list. Can't send your card there. I'm like,
what?
I have a UK address. Nope, you can't do that. Well, so I think that's going to be great for me and overall when it comes to it being accessible to the globe.
Interesting. Anyone else?
Do you want me to answer that?
Yeah. It's your turn to answer.
I thought it was Go ahead.
No, you deserve to answer to a point where you're not last. Tell us your thoughts, Tim.
Well, the way that the crypto card works now, I don't have one, but someone explained it to me that you have to load your crypto that you want to use on the card. So say if you wanted to spend $100 worth of Bitcoin, you would have to load $100 of Bitcoin onto the card, right?
No.
See, that's the way it was explained to me. So you could just say, this transaction I'm using Bitcoin, this transaction I'm using Ethereum, or do you have to have it? You have to keep adding to a certain amount that you have to have on there that you could spend.
Yeah, so how crypto.com does it is quite genius. And I learned about it when I applied for the card. So what ends up happening is when you get and apply for a crypto.com card, they open 2 accounts. They open a US bank, a fiat wallet that's headquartered in New York. It's called Metropolitan Bank or something like that. And they open a crypto wallet. So they open a fiat wallet and a crypto wallet. The fiat wallet is how you open a connection to your other banks. So Chase is notorious for hating crypto, right? But guess what? I have Chase as an account connection to the fiat wallet. So they can't say anything because they're in regulation, right? So I send money to the fiat wallet. And from there, I can top up my crypto.com card with fiat, or I can use whatever crypto I have available inside of crypto.com to top up my card. So if I want to use Bitcoin, I can sell half a Bitcoin and top up my crypto.com card with $27,000, right? Or if I want to use Ethereum, I can sell one Ethereum to top up my card for $4,000. That's how that works. And so you're ultimately topping up your prepaid debit card with either fiat or crypto, right? And as someone that is pretty much diving into the crypto world for 2022 and forgetting about fiat, if I do need fiat, I'm just going to sell and transfer some crypto over and top it up, right? So that's how I'm going to do it. That's why I really am looking for killer things that Safemoon's going to release for me to move over to the Safemoon card, because I want to support Safemoon. But crypto.com has a crazy environment set up for themselves for sure.
Well, maybe they don't have to top it up. Maybe you could just spend directly your crypto.
But then you're getting into that dangerous area of why XRP up in a lawsuit, right? That's the dangerous part. That's why they got in battle, is because they tried overstepping a little bit into the fact where you can just automatically swipe the card and whatever crypto you had converted to fiat. So it's really interesting. It's an interesting topic of conversation that maybe we'll just have to wait till it gets closer, but they haven't said anything about, what Safemoon rewards will be. And I see a lot of comments in there. It absolutely better be metal. It has to be metal. That's a requirement.
Why not carbon fiber?
It could be carbon fiber as long as it's not plastic.
No, it needs to be pure diamond. I don't accept it.
Oh my gosh.
People be cutting themselves with their damn cards.
So I would like to touch on the card. Something
Yeah,
that
man.
if we go back in time from when the card was first being introduced, one of the things that they had teased about was that they had plans, and maybe it changed because Simplex was on that roadmap of discussions as far as a payment processor to be able to acquire BNB. That didn't end up happening. They ended up swapping over and going with MoonPay and with Wire. So they had talked about in the past of doing a partnership with Apple Pay. If that's something that's still going to roll out, Apple Pay is widely accepted a lot of places. And interestingly enough, back when I did that video many months ago, it was a lot of the things that John was kind of talking about. One of the things he talked about was groceries. There's a lot of grocery stores. You can go in, you can pay with Apple Pay. So if you had that sort of mechanic, I know you're talking about with the issues with XRP and everything, but if you have the partnership with Apple Pay, which Apple Pay is already well established, then you could have an opportunity there where you can go in, pay wherever Apple Pay is accepted. Maybe they also work with Samsung Pay. Maybe they also work with Google Pay. I mean, there's these variations, obviously. And then that converts whatever your current balance is on your crypto on over to that. Whether or not they're also going to have the opportunity as like a credit card format to where, based on X amount that you have in your account, let's say you have $2,000 worth. They say, well, you qualify for a $5,000 credit limit, something like that. You're going to have to pay interest rates on all that kind of stuff. That is something that we could see kind of progress forward with this. But, the simple idea of earning a kickback every time you spend on your card, getting SafeMoon, it sounds so simple, but it's a core function that many people would love to have. And I think it's something that they could roll out. What that percentage of kickback would be, because if you're also including the reflections, they're probably going to have some sort of function in their code that's tied in with the card so that there's like reductions in the fees from what's normal, things like that. All that very well could play out. But I think that a lot of people would like to be able to go spend your SafeMoon card on whatever. And hey, I got some more SafeMoon back. Plus, I'm still earning reflections on it at the same time.
Yeah, crypto.com also allows you to connect it to Apple Pay. So I'm not shilling.
Oh my
crypto.com.
God, you're shilling the card for crypto.
No, man. Listen,
I'm waiting
Why
for
don't
him
you
to
just
give his
take your
referral
sweatshirt
link.
off? You probably have like a tattoo on your chest that says crypto.com.
No, man. I'm just saying.
Celsius.
I'm just
Hey,
saying.
Celsius.
Hey, Moonboy, can you change the title of the video to crypto.com card, please?
Yeah, I think that's
No, man. I'm
kind
just
of
saying,
ugly
right?
thinking that.
We all want the SafeMoon card. Everyone here is saying they want the SafeMoon card. I'm going to get one, but I want to see something truly fire from SafeMoon for me to move over there, because it would make sense that by then our exchange would have launched, right? To me, that would make sense. But I need something fire, guys. That's all I'm saying, right? That's all I'm
So
saying.
the
Maybe every
2%
purchase of the
buyback-
SafeMoon card, you get a brand new Lamborghini.
No, you get an
There we go.
NFT of a windmill
Of a
every
Lamborghini.
time you
Turbine.
swipe it. So you get a wind turbine. You keep swiping that damn card. You get a wind turbine.
I get a wind turbine.
Yeah, man, and they make that shit out of nanoparticles. So like you can't even get it wet.
Is anyone being sold on that? If Tim said, "Hey, for every swipe you get a
I
piece
think
of
that's
a
a good use
turbine,"
case, though.
You know, I want my SafeMoon card covered in nanoparticles.
There you go. Yeah, man. You can't. Water bounces off that shit. It's like, you know.
I just want to be one of the
fire
top
right
50
there.
to get one of the pink cards. I want a pink card with a black. Hey, a pink card with a black logo. That's gonna be fire. Imagine
that would pop.
in the grocery. Hey, imagine grocery store pulling out a card. This big man with like a Safemoon shirt on, a pink card. I think that'd be awesome.
I want mine with
So,
RGB built in.
What if the first generation one was gold? Like only the first set of 10,000 card holders get the gold SafeMoon card, and then everyone after that never has that gold version.
Like pure gold.
Pure gold. It's
saying?
malleable. Oh, guys, hold on. Let me straighten my Safemoon card. It's bleeding a little bit in there. It's made out of 24 karat gold.
It's been sitting in
something
Tim's.
you would ever
It's
wanna
been
use
sitting in
on
Tim's
this
back
laminated.
pocket, so it's shaped like this when he pulls it out.
Anyways, that's the last question I wanted. I didn't want to derail it. It is something that I am excited about because it's something that's really heavily used in my current ecosystem. So I would love to have Safemoon release something super fire. So, but anyways, yeah, my closing statements. Thank you, Moonboy, for obviously hosting this. This is a lot of fun. You guys already know this. I have a lot of fun with you guys, and I look forward to this. So thank you so much for hosting this. Make sure you guys smashy that like button. Follow every single person in here. Subscribe. Everyone has really, really good content. And so, yeah, thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Finally moving on to Safemoon Tim, your final thoughts.
Finally moving on.
Final to the final
moving
Tim.
on.
Yeah, I think you did a great job hosting. You kept it going. You asked great questions. I wish I was half as good as that when I hosted mine. But you guys all did great tonight. The questions that you answered and how you answered them just left me nothing to deliver when it finally got to me, which is the greatest part about coming last after this group of people. But so if you didn't hear them answer the questions, then watch this again over the next 24 hours on this channel as much as you can. So this guy gets some. So this guy over here gets some views on it. Subscribe to every single one of these guys because they put out master amounts of awesome content. Sometimes I'll look on there and be like, man, these guys are just pumping out great content all the time. I don't know how they do it. So just make sure you subscribe to their channels, join their channels, always smash their like buttons for all their videos because that really helps out a lot with the algorithms and gets their videos pushed up. So just make sure if you are watching it, you do enjoy it, just to smash the hell out of that button. And if you know, because it really will help out a lot, and just comment too, because that helps out a lot as well. So, but I want to thank you guys for having me on here. It's been a blast. It's always fun hanging out with you guys, and you're always a wealth of knowledge. And I feel like besides the audience and the commenters learning stuff, I feel like I learned a lot too.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you, Tim. You guys have been incredible. Thank you all so much for viewing. Thank you everyone for showing up and being part of episode 6 of the Safemoon Round Table. Next week, I feel I think we're going to rotate back to Generation Crypto's channel. So most likely it's going to be hosted on his channel. That will be announced on Twitter. So be on the lookout for that specific announcement. Thank you all so much. I appreciate the support. And if you're not subscribed, make sure you do so. Subscribe to all of us. All the channel links, as well as Adam, is down below in the description. So we'll see you guys next week. Diamond Fist, Diamond Peace. Take care.